Yo, people, we're live. 3 minutes late. The price is fault as usual. Yeah, YouTube wasn't doing its thing there. So anyway, what's going on? I'm a little sidetracked here.
You got distracted by your comments there.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, people.
Instagram.
Yep. People making stupid comments about my yellow lugs. I like my yellow lugs.
You gonna keep them?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. It's funny, like, I don't ask for people's opinion, but they sure like to give it to me. Oh, boy.
Well, Steve Mann has a good question here for you. What is Matt doing for National Cheeseburger Day? Today's National Cheeseburger Day.
That's a good... I could go for a cheeseburger. I haven't had a
really
cheeseburger in a while.
Is that on your C list?
No, that's the hamburger with cheese. That's safe.
That's only the hard C sounds.
No, again, I don't have a problem overeating hamburgers.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, I'll eat one or two. Like, all right, I'm good. I'm not going to eat 37 hamburgers like I would 37 Oreos. So,
makes sense.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now you got dinner plans. Take Michelle out to a nice dinner at Five Guys.
No, I'm heading to the airport.
Oh yeah. I
got to stay at a stinky, I don't know what it is, but it's not a good, let me look at the hotel.
I think it's the...
such a Hilton Garden Inn or some bull crap like that.
Motel 6, Orlando Airport.
It's Hilton Garden Inn, Orlando Airport. Oh, that's gonna be rough. Hopefully there aren't any roaches. So I'm staying there because the Hyatt was booked. Maybe I should call the Hyatt, see if I could sneak in.
I'm sure somebody canceled.
Yeah, shoot, I need to think about that. I'll try that after this podcast.
You're rubbing off on other people here. David in chat says, I tried one of those zebra cakes. They're disgustingly sweet.
Oh, there's no such thing as that.
And then someone else asked if you had zebra cake rolls.
Yeah,
they have a picture,
but they're not the same. I like the Hex. The Hex is the way to go. I haven't had a zebra cake in a long time. Should I break one in now? Should we do a challenge? See if I can eat the whole box.
That was the talk last week. Yeah, I think Mike is the one who, while he was working on the zebra cake shirt that you referenced, he's like, these are Hex too.
Yeah, so it's beautiful. It's meant
to be. And you get two of them. It's a pretty good deal.
Two is not enough. $1.99 for a box.
They come in 3 packs.
How many calories do I get for that $1.99? 330. Okay, serving size is 2, so that's 2. So 5 times 330 is what, 1650, and that would be 70 grams of fat. See, that's not bad. And 48 grams of carbs. So 33 grams of sugar times 5. Yeah, that's spicy.
No, but then
2 grams of protein.
That still doesn't even get you to 100% of your daily allowance of carbs, though.
Yeah.
If you ate 5.
Although it would be 320% of your daily sugar intake.
Yeah, that's
according to FDA, which is probably not all that.
Who are they to tell you what sugar?
Yeah, sugar, corn syrup, enriched bleach flour.
That's a long list.
Riboflavin, vitamin B2, folic acid. I'm folic acid deficient, so that helps me. That's probably why I like them so much. Water, palm kernel. Nothing bad here. No, there's dextrose. But soybean oil, that's usually not very good. Then we get into it contains 2% or less of each of the following. 2% or less of egg whites and whey. That's where the protein comes in.
Get your whey protein.
It's delicious.
Just take a bite and force some
no high fructose corn syrup. This probably gluten-free. Product is enlarged to show detail.
That'd be nice.
I wish they were that big. Yeah, I would buy that.
Like a hamburger-sized zebra cake.
McKee, a family bakery. Little Debbie. Yep, these are good people. Good people right there.
Yeah, so we're down a few.
I haven't eaten one.
You haven't eaten.
How many boxes? Is there a box?
Yeah.
Oh,
there's 4 boxes.
Could I eat 4 boxes?
No, you could not eat 4 boxes. That would be bad.
I think I could sit here on the podcast and eat. I could easily
4 entire boxes in an hour. Well, that's
no, not 4. I'd be hurting, and I'd start to get sick. No water. You'd lock the door. Lock me in here. All right, back to reality here. What do we got going on? I'm sidetracked. I'm stuck on my steamer out there. I got one more caliper to finish.
Well, it smells good in here. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah.
I sprayed some of this in here. Is this live in the store yet? If not, it's going to be today or tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be live shortly. But so the interior fragrances from Angel Wax, I think is their best darn product. Awesome.
So this one's Eden.
I like Eden.
That's the fruitier one. It does smell quite nice.
Yeah. Most dudes seem to like the other one, though.
Yeah, that's more of a manly sandalwood, birch, leather kind of scent.
Yeah, but I love the smell of this stuff.
Caution, do not spray onto leather and hard surfaces. So that's important to know.
Yeah, you just kind of spritz it on your carpet. And
down in the bottom where you go. That.
All right, we got enough in here. I don't want to throw up. You're masking the zebra cake smell.
All right, so I wanted to bring up a few things here and now folks in the chat are suggesting maybe if you place an order for $100 or more in the OG store, you get zebra cakes with it. That's a good idea. I said those.
You get that all mashed zebra cakes, so a little easier to eat.
We have our first super chat. Oh, Dallas, who was here last week for the podcast. He's still in Florida. It looks like I'm out enjoying the Florida sun, but had to pop in and pay back to the OG generosity. Kyle knows the story.
Awesome.
I have to ask Kyle. Yeah, Dallas and Ashley were here last week. That was cool.
All right, $250, and I'll eat the box of zebra cakes,
including that.
No, that doesn't count.
Okay, you'll eat one box.
I'll eat one box. I gotta go get a drink of water, but I'll eat it on podcast.
All right.
I'll break the seas just for
$250 super chat dollars.
$250. I'll do it. Well, I need a down payment because I now have an offer to buy the building. So.
Oh, wow. Even Michelle M from Lady Lake is joining the chat.
What did
here.
she say?
Says yes, do it.
Do it for $250.
That's the exact opposite of what I thought she would say.
I thought she'd give me a hard time. Yeah. She knows that something's clicked in my brain, like something's happened. Like I'm sweating right now because I'm getting fired up. I'm heading toward awesome land again. Look out. I'm going to be extra cocky and extra arrogant. Some people are really gonna dig that. Some will, most won't. So
all right. So right now we're at 0. I'll keep track here on the paper.
0 plus. All right, so 250 bones, and it could be cumulative,
right? Yeah.
Minus the 20. That 20 doesn't count.
Yeah, that's Canadian anyway. That's like we talked about that last week.
Yeah. It's like $1.80, $1.99. I could buy a box.
All right, so I want to get to a couple quick questions here from your video, the Corvette video. A lot of interest in that. That was a highly viewed video. But Eric noted on Instagram, you eliminated all the C's except for one, the Corvette. I guess you can't have your Corvette and eat cake too. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, yeah. Don't
we
fret.
won't shorten it.
We're headed.
Oh wow, Wesley.
How much did he?
Wes, 25. He's at 10%.
10% of the. Oh shoot.
This is gonna be good. I have some.
How much money are you
wallet.
kicking in?
If we get close, we'll see.
Yeah, we're turning into that douchey guy podcast. Oh boy, it's supposed to be a one douchey guy podcast.
All right. Will you be releasing more GT3 RS content anytime soon? That's from Porsche Boy 95.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm heading to the mountains on August 1st, and so I want to do a follow-up. October 1st. So I want to do a follow-up with Andy, who talked about car control. We didn't get to do what I'd hoped to do because it was pouring down rain in the Carrera GT. So I'd like to do a follow-up with Andy in his car talking about car control, and then Andy instructing me in my car. I haven't asked him to do this yet, but he will probably be down. So the fall event is a little bit more chill too. So I'm going to try to do that. I don't think there really aren't any new Porsche. What was that?
Sorry. Yoshi went. He just. There was $25, okay. So we're $225 away, and then Yoshi pounded out $225 and said, "Eat them."
Oh, shit. Let me go fill up my water.
All right, and then Dan chipped in 10 zebra cakes. Wow. All right, so we made. Hold on.
That was faster than I thought.
All right. One thing while he's gone, let me address one thing that came up here. Because if you're in the Facebook group, you might have seen that there was Matt put out a plea. I think it was on Saturday about DFZ, Dent Free Zone, and how Facebook had emailed us and said, hey, can you get your members to submit pictures? We're doing this promotion or commercial or whatever. So he made a post in the group, and there were like 500 comments in there, which was awesome. However, we got an email today asking, hey, we haven't gotten any submissions yet. Basically, they have to be emailed in. The DFZ pictures.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I went back, I read the email, and I posted, it's right there at the top of the Facebook group. And so it has an email address. You got to send it in, just include a little bit of information, and then that's the way it works. And if they use your submission, you get $150.
I almost ate the bag.
So if you're in the Facebook group, check that out. There you go.
These don't look so good.
Let's see.
Dave Plotz is going to be so sad at me.
Yoshi is now a hero of the chat for the day. People are. So we got Wes contributed 25, Yoshi with the 225, and then Dan Pfeiffer from up there in Minnesota. He added in 10 there. Steve Mintz.
I'm not going to be able to talk. We'll just do no talking. I'll just sit here and eat.
All right. Well, let's see. What do you have? 10 of them to get through in a little over an hour. So that's one every 6 minutes. You're fine.
Oh, yeah. That was easy.
Let's see. He might be regretting this later. Oh, nice. Craig chimes in with 20, what is that, pounds? Yeah. Which I don't know the conversion there, Craig. And then people were saying that they would only chip in if you ate them in your vehicle, which that would have been great.
There's something wrong with these. We don't know where these actually came from.
All right, so I'm going to go. Mysteriously, they just showed up 5 or 6 boxes one day. Let's see. When are the rest of the 1M giveaway shirt shipping? That's from AJ DiPalantonio on Facebook. AJ, as soon as we get them in, we have our last wave coming in. Hopefully the end of this week or early next week. Was that a 1 in 1 bite there? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm waiting to see Michelle's eat them messy. That's funny. So as soon as they come in, AJ, we're going to get them out to you. Basically, you may recall the last day or two. The week before it ended, Bryce and I got together and tried to do a relatively good estimate of how many extra we need to order to kind of get us through. And so we ordered, almost 200 extra shirts, thinking, okay, we'll sell some at the end. And then Matt put that post up the last day of the month. And so the 200 extra we ordered was good, but we still needed an additional 382 or something like that on top of it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let's see what else I can address here while you're going through those zebra cakes. Oh, this is a good question from Keenan. Let's see. Would you still have been a Honda boy if you were in your 20s now in 2019? If not, what brand would 20-year-old you be looking at today, do you think?
I mean, I would probably be WRX. Because we're still available. It was so good.
Still
it was so good. I just wish they were a little bit. We should have chilled them a little bit.
A little warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
S.A. Burke here wants to know how much for eating a cheeseburger in the GT3. That's good. Oh, Jeeper. Yeah, he did give up the zebra cakes for a little while, but everyone has a price, Jeeper, and we found out Matt's price today. $250.
I didn't think it was people would have paid for that.
Okay.
I gotta learn to keep my mouth shut. Me and making bets is never a good thing.
That's true. You don't have a stellar reputation there in making bets or challenges or anything. So tomorrow, tonight you drive down to Orlando. You're leaving tomorrow to go to Baltimore area for the Crinsley USA visit.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Videos on maintenance, oil change, etc.
I've learned to make it so that I'm not I would rather rush, because what I normally do is I try to do 4 things when I go somewhere. So I would have gone to Baltimore and try to book 3 other things, but now what I'm doing is I'll go for a day and a half.
And just do all
Right,
Chrysler.
and not book too many days. Because I have too many cool toys to play with. You know? So I feel like, like I'll do that when I go to California. I book a week, and I'm miserable at day 1.5.
Which package is that, by the way? Is that number 4 or 5?
The
or?
last one.
Oh, the last one? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I said I was messing with you.
Here's a Chrysler-related question then with regard to that from AJR Techs on Instagram. Will you be asking Chrysler to come back with such an elegant wall mount solution like you have in your personal wash bay? Your new solution that you offer is awesome, but yours looks so good.
It's not going to happen. That the families had a falling out. Chrysler doesn't use stainless like that. So, yeah, I don't think so. What I want to try to get them to do is to do an in-between model.
So just for some background here for people who may or may not know, the one you have at your home has that cover on it, and it's all
correct.
stainless,
So that's a
right?
K165 STS.
They no longer make that.
It's the same pump as the KWS 700, which is the current version.
Which we do have available in the store, but
Right.
it's not as...
A KWS 700 has a pressure switch, so it turns on and off. Mine has a 30-second timeout. So the current version is 3.3 gallons per minute. There you go. 3.3 gallons per minute. All right, $1,000 for the next box. I'm just kidding. I'm not eating another box. So I think I'm just gauging my feeling here because I'm a little out of practice, but I could probably do another box and a half. Like, I'd be really hurting.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But I think I could do it.
Do some math while you're answering this next question here.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I forgot about the calories we just calculated.
So,
I'm going to still go to the gym today.
Here's a good question from Joseph on Instagram. What's a good washer fluid solution for places that get below freezing instead of just the deionized water?
Yeah, I don't know. Because, you obviously wouldn't want to, especially wouldn't want to do just DI water because that'll freeze at an even lower or even higher temp. It'll freeze at 32 even, right? If there's some salt or something in your water, it would freeze at a lower temp. I don't know. I have that Angel Wax Clarity that I'm going to put in the M5. See how it does from a slimy, does it mess up the paint? Does it leave water spots or anything like that? So I'm going to try putting that in with DI water and see how that does.
Yeah, we don't really face that down here. It never really gets below freezing for any length of time anyway.
Yeah. But I think pretty much all of them will be fine. It's just a question of what kind of junk does it leave behind? Does it leave funk all over your windshield? And how much do those things actually really help cleaning of the windshield? Anyway, you keep talking. I gotta go wash my hands.
All right, so let's see. Michelle said for $1,000 she would eat a box of them. That'd be fun to watch too, because I don't know if she could eat. Well, she probably could. I shouldn't question her. So yeah, thank you to let's go back here. Yoshi, Wes, Craig, Dan, and Dallas, who all did the super chat money. That was pretty funny, actually. Makes for not so great radio, but yeah, they're 1,650 calories he just consumed, and what's that? 160 grams of sugar. A little under, was that 240 carbs?
And we wonder why I'm on the edge of morbidly obese.
You did get 0% of your vitamin D, so that's good.
I got some room there.
Yeah.
Don't get this sticky crap.
I said you have to eat the box.
Yeah.
The box should be more nutritious than what I just ate. All right, I'm back.
All right.
Challenge defeated.
Let's go back to the M5 for just a second here because we were talking about that. Why are you modding the M5 so much if you already said you don't like it and will sell it soon?
First, don't say modding. You sound like an idiot.
Sadat.
No one says modding. Just don't say that.
Tense.
Say modifications. You sound like a grown-up. Also, don't put koozies on your bottle. But so, I don't know. Well, maybe I'll like it. maybe I won't.
The mods,
but I know what I do like is modding. I like the process of modifying things. I think it's fun. I like the process more of the result. Like, so you'll see me complaining as I start tearing things apart and nothing fits right and doesn't work the way I hoped it would. But then I've said this many times about detailing. The thing I like about detailing is I'm addicted to the result. I hate the process, but I love the result. And then I like to maintain things, even though a lot of times it's kind of pointless. Like, I maintain it for the next guy, because I don't keep things long enough, but I want to have the full M5 experience. This is what I'm learning about with cars, and this is something that I wouldn't have understood several years ago. So I would have asked the same question that this person's asking. I would have said, well, if you don't like the car, then why are you going down that path? But that was a time when I didn't enjoy the experience as much. I didn't take time to go through the process and really figure out that what I enjoy is the process more than the car. So that's why I'm gonna do the whole experience, the whole start to finish, and then maybe keep it, maybe sell it, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. And that's been a big shift for me. So I really relate with the question. I really understand it because I didn't understand why I would get so bent out of shape about things and why I wouldn't enjoy. I'd be on one car, and while I'm working on that car, I'm on to the next car. Well, now I've realized that, and it's allowed me to be more present, even if that present is really a short period of time from point buy to point sell. Even if it's a few months, or if it's a few years, or if it's a decade, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm living this car guy life. We're in kind of an interesting period in cars, and so I want to live it up because I can, So that's the answer.
All right. With regard to your traveling to Crinsla here, JJ in Oregon wants to know, are there any detailing companies or products that you would like to try or visit that you have not yet? Because you've been to McGuire's, you've been to P&S, you've been to a lot of different places. You said you want to go to Cox at some point when you're out that way.
Yeah.
There in Arizona.
That's a great question. I don't care enough to fly overseas to go anywhere. I don't want to do that, to make that kind of trip. I'd really like to dig in with someone on, chemical production, chemicals in general. I'm in this, and kind of expanding on this. I know this isn't the question, but I'm in this thought process, or in this kind of weird limbo, where when I started doing this, there was no agenda. Right? I didn't have an agenda, and I still, to a large extent, don't have an agenda. When I choose a product, it's because I want it in my process. Now, I have to think about it a little bit differently because I have to teach other people how to use stuff too. So there is a little bit different thought process, but it really comes down to it's a little selfish, but comes down to what, if I'm washing a car, what do I like and dislike? For instance, I've just made the decision, I'm almost certain that I'm back to Adams again, soap. My dad gave me that look. Remember yesterday, I'm like, I don't have any Adams. He's like, you told me not to order any. I said, well, I haven't decided yet, and I think I've decided to get more Adams. So I think I still like Adams soap better, and that's a tough one because the Hyperwash is pretty darn good, and it's cheaper and all that stuff. But I don't give a crap about cheap. I care about what's good, and I'd pay whatever it costs, even if it's a minor difference in quality, if I really enjoyed it or really liked it as part of the process. So I started out making videos just as an outlet, and then started to see, well, shoot, that people wanted to know what I was using, and so I made the website, and a website with just links to elsewhere. And then, of course, I've told this story 100 times where then Amazon shut my account down, and then I decided, well, maybe I should curate products because it's really hard to tell people what to do. I mean, I'm crafting 3-hour-long emails to one person of here's everything you need to have for what you're asking me. And so instead, I wanted to just send them a link, say, go here. I've told this is everything you need to know. And then I realized it's better for me to deliver that than it is for me to send you 37 links to all these different places. And then from there, I decided that, well, if I'm going to have the products, I should probably create packages so that I'm thinking about the doctor or the business owner who has his hands full in life, but really enjoys detailing on the weekends, but doesn't enjoy the research process. I believe that my value or my gift is to do that research. Is what I really enjoy doing, and so this is a way for me to, create a reason for me to waste that time and all that energy and all that expertise I've developed. And so now what's happened, and this is going to be hard to say without the I'm better than discussion, but I'm now seeing, let's just say I'm realizing the power of the influence that I have on influencers. So I have influence on all these people asking these questions, and then all that are watching and listening. I am an influencer of the people like, Christopher Michael here probably influences everybody in his life. So his aunt, his uncle, his parents, his friends' friends. He's the guy that people come to and say, what tires should I buy? What microwave should I get? What desk? What's that cell phone case you have? Oh man, that's a cool wallet you have. And it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with value. Maybe you don't make a lot of money, but yet you spent extra money on a carbon fiber Ridge wallet, or you bought some nice luggage because you valued that. But ultimately, every person here and the vast majority of people that are listening here influence a large percentage of people. So even though I only have 180,000 subscribers and we get an average of, say, 12 or 15,000 people watch a video, that 15,000 is expanded exponentially because of the people that tend to listen to me, that can relate to what I'm saying. And so there is this power in me doing something as hokey as just picking a soap, something that really doesn't matter, or picking a hose or a fitting or a hose reel or something like that. And then the widespread influence that all of these people, so really it's not me with the power, it's the people with the power. And so but it's my idiosyncrasies, it's my expertise that created that influence. And so now I need to figure out, because I don't think I want to create my own product line. So going back to the question, what would you like to visit? I don't think I want to make my own product line because I don't think it would be good enough. And the only way I could make my own product line is if I went to every company that I'm using in my process and have to have them make all of the stuff for me, which maybe I can. I don't know. And my margins would go up and all of that. So I'm trying to figure out how am I able to track? How am I able to figure out? How am I able to use the data to be able to get things made that I want made? And then how do I track that to be able to use that data for the next product? So if I want something to work a little differently and it's a new company that I never talked to. And so what I'm thinking about doing is creating, rather than a private label and going to like an Optimum and having them make a private label, or going to P&S and having them, I know I can make a better private label product than probably any other private label product if you give me enough time. I think I could beat all of the big names longer term in performance because I'm obsessed. I think that I could do that. It would take me 15 years, though, to get there. And I would have to not lie to people, but I would have to have things that I didn't believe in for a long time to develop. And I just don't want to do that. I don't want to. I think I take a big hit reputationally and brand-wise to do that. And so what I think I need to do is to create some sort of OG spec or OG approved or some sort of stamp of approval that if I go to, P&S and I say, well, BrakeBuster is good. I like it. I don't know if it's the best in the world, but I like it. And then I'm putting my stamp on it. And then I have an OG approved, and then create some value to, or I guess quantify my value to the value that I'm providing to a P&S or an Adams or a Griot's Garage or a what have you, whatever product that I'm buying. And it's difficult to, like, a Griot's Garage doesn't fit very much because they really don't make much. They're just relabeling stuff. So they're doing the same thing that I'm doing. They're just private labeling everything. And see, I think that's where, it's not a mistake. It's just not my style. It's not my brand. My brand is very different. So I think in the future, I will have to visit places and figure out. My longer term vision is I would really like to have a bottle that's mine and then a stamp that's mine, but it's their label, It's their product, and I want everybody to know whose product it is. And it would be easy if it was a different bottle and a different label and other people wanted it. But here's an example of what's happening. So the Mosmatic gun, it's my gun. We designed it. I have an exclusivity contract. And some dude literally emails Mosmatic and says, hey, I know this guy, the Obsessed Garage guy, said that he has exclusivity on this, but I want to buy it from you in quantity and sell it cheaper. Like, he literally said that. And, of course, I have a great relationship with Jamie. Jamie sends it to me and says, look at this. And so I know this is happening all the time, that there's, and I'm all for competition, but there's just theft of intellectual property. And so how do I fix that? How do I make that? And how do I co-label and co-brand? And then how do we measure that? And I'm less concerned about, I think I'll be rewarded monetarily. So I'm less concerned about, am I getting paid? I'm not even having that conversation with any of the suppliers. Like, I'm not calling up P&S and saying, you're going to pay me for, who knows, maybe I'm not even the reason why the product has taken off. But I would like to at least have some co-branding or some stamp of approval. And then, again, I don't know where this is going to take me. If it takes me to pure private label, if it takes me to co-branding, if it takes me to something like OG spec or OG approved, and create a stamp on the bottle, I don't know. I don't know what that means. And I know this is a convoluted answer, but my visiting of other chemical manufacturers will be to have these in-person discussions, see how they make stuff. And then be much more forthright with if I'm going to put my stamp on this, I want to be able to show how we're making it. Not what's in it, not the secret sauce, but what is it? What are we doing here? What is the product? Why are we being so freaking secretive? What's going on here? What is this made out of? What does this cost? If I'm going to do a raffle, I want to show people what I made on it. Now, if I'd made $500,000, maybe I wouldn't have shown that to people. And that's what's happening is, the product costs virtually nothing. But it doesn't matter what the product costs because you have the development and you have the building and the facility and the employees and the insurance and all the other bull crap. So people get bent out of shape when they see cost of things.
I got a question in the chat from Brandon. Would using the decon soap applied through a foam cannon be a sufficient lubricant when using nanoskin auto scrub and using a bucket with the decon soap to clean off the auto scrub?
It can be. You can use soap. I like to use an actual dedicated, lubricant that's designed for that. But yeah, you can use soap. I mean, you're marring the surface anyway. You probably introduce a little bit more probability or possibility of marring. But, if you want to get it done quicker, maybe you're in the sun or trying to beat the sun, or it's hot as crap or something, or you're trying to speed up your time, you can certainly do that. Yeah, I used to really overthink the claying, and that process used to take me like half a day. And I'd be sitting there micromanaging every square inch. Well, you're just trying to get the big stuff off so you can get the polisher out and not end up with a piece of sand that you're grinding into the paint. And even if you did, you'd see it and you'd be able to fix it. So the only time it would really matter is if you were like literally closing your eyes and polishing the whole car, and then you come to realize you didn't get all the contamination off. So yeah, I wouldn't overthink it. You could certainly do that, but I like to do the 3-step process of decontamination.
Matt Duffy wants to know, how's the eraser holding up on the Camry? Well, I'll tell you this: if the bead maker ever wears off, which it hasn't yet, in 6.5 months, then I'll apply a layer of eraser over the whole car. But for right now, the bead maker's holding up nice.
You're cheating a little bit because you have all these pockets because in the paint, because the paint is so damaged and porous that like you spray the bead maker and it's like holding on to it better than like a shiny car would. Well, that's for darn sure.
I think we figured out one of the secrets. Then you just gotta
scuff it up.
Yeah, scuff it up a little. Use a little sandpaper or Brillo, whatever it takes.
Create some channels, some rivers, some pockets.
See. I want to go, since you mentioned his name, we'll go to his question here. Christopher Michael from Facebook. Mm-hmm. Do you think that the quick jack system is a viable option for those of us with low ceilings in our garage where scissor or post lift isn't an option? Just want to use it for some wheels off detailing and wheel swaps. Nothing crazy.
I just don't like them. I haven't used it enough. In fact, I never even put it under my car because I put it under there, but I never put it up because it didn't fit the jack points. So, I mean, I get why that thing is kind of viable. Once you get the car up on there, it's nice. It's nice to have. But the problem is getting each side weighs 70-something pounds, and you got to plug in all the stuff. Now they are quick connected. I guess it wouldn't be much different than setting up a pressure washer. So I'm being a little cranky about this, but it's just not as simple a solution as you think it's going to be when you buy it. So just know that if you know that going in. Just like, a Krenzla pressure washer, you got to lay it on its back. You got to pull the hose out. You got to plug in the stuff. This is why the on-wall solution exists, because the on-wall solution, you don't have to do any of that crap. You just pull the hose out and wrap it back up. You don't have to carry out this 80-pound object. So that's the problem. The bigger problem for me is if you don't have a big space, like if you don't have a big garage, where are you going to put them when you're not using them? That's the part that even I've got 6 acres, but I didn't have anywhere to put my freaking quick jacks unless it were out in the open. I don't want to lean them up against the wall or anything like that. So that's something that if that bothers you like it bothers me, then that's one of the disadvantages to them. But yeah, it can certainly easier than trying to get it on, on jack stands. That's why I always liked having a jack and then just taking Rhino ramps and just turning them backwards, jack it up and just stick it underneath there. And I know that thing's never failing. So you're putting, my cars are too low to drive up on the Rhino ramps. You just jack it up, slide it in there, and I slide it in reverse so that way they're facing out so they're not in my way. And that's to me was always the best solution. I would actually probably prefer, and this creates even more bulk, I would prefer to have the the race ramp solution where they have the really long ramps and you drive up on this tall block. But the issue with that is then that's not a wheels off type thing. So yeah, I mean there's a con to all these little temporary solutions outside of a lift. But a lift is not all that practical for most people.
Red Eye Andy wants to know, when can we anticipate microfiber version 3.0 or whatever number?
I was just thinking about that. What I wanted to do was get through the M5 and really assess my towel situation. I was just thinking, I was folding all my towels this morning, bringing them over here. I was just thinking about that. So I would guess in the next several weeks, I'm going to be, so it'll probably be a month and a half before I can get the towels changed. I'm going to ditch the Eagle 350. I just find myself never using that. And I have to decide what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep the yellow towel for polish removal. It's just so great for polish removal. I just love it. I was going to move the Creature to that. So I have to decide what I'm going to do with the interior. I'm going to work on the M5 interior the next week or so, maybe. If I don't convince Kyle to do it for me. And Bryce and Kyle will have to do it, and I'll just watch. But, yeah, it's really soon.
Okay. Along those lines, Mr. Souza on Instagram, when Matt washes all of his spent towels with Micro Restore, does he wash them all together, or does he separate the wheel towels or any of the other towels?
No, I wash them just kind of color dependent. It also depends on how many times I've washed them. Like, I washed the whole grouping of towels that have all been washed at least 2 or 3 times. So orange, red, blues, dark gray, the wheel towels all went in one load. And then the polish, the yellows, the pluffles, or the whatever I call those, what do I call those? Waterless wash towels, the white big waffle weaves, those all go in one load. Now the yellows, you'd have to wash all by themselves 2 or 3 or 4 times. The reds, wash them by themselves, the greens. But the red, green, blue, orange, all those go in a load. And then, so I usually do 2 loads, All
right, we have someone here from QuickJack watching today. They say, hey, Matt, if it comes down to weight of the frames, would you be interested in an aluminum version of the QuickJack?
Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense. A foldable aluminum version would be pretty sick.
There you go. Matt Long agrees.
With a much more universal jack point spot.
Chris,
and so I don't have to have like different ones for different types of cars.
Chris Beasley here in the chat has some Corvette advice for you. Do you plan on adding a catch can to the Corvette? I didn't see it on the list of planned modifications. Double check in the intake to see if you're getting oil ingestion.
Yeah, I never end up doing those, but I always plan on doing them. I never have cars high enough mileage to really matter of blow by and things like that. But yeah, I mean, if I can find a good looking one, it depends on where I go with the thing. If you go inside the membership, I talk a lot about what my thoughts are. Likely, I'm not going to go as far as I thought I was going to go. Likely, I'm not going to give this car away. Likely, I'm just going to use it and sell it, experience it. Likely, what I'm going to do is do a lot of track stuff with it. Not a lot, but I'm going to go, and I've been, it's been on my list to go get some really hardcore, some really quality lessons from Seth Thomas up at Atlanta Motorsports Park. I've been talking about it for 5 years now. So I just didn't want to take any of my cars up there to do it. So I don't. It's funny. I don't really look at the Z06 as my car. It's just the car that I have, and so I don't know that a giveaway would be very successful. I'm not certain on this yet. We'll see if I end up with this large Corvette audience after I'm done with this thing and all the modifications I'm chasing and all of that. If I end up with a huge Corvette audience and it works out, maybe I will do a giveaway. But what I'm afraid of is, I love the 1M. I hated things about it, but I fixed those things I hated. But I really like the 1M, and I'm a BMW fanboy. So it was a much more natural way for me to give it away without having to ram it down people's throats. I didn't have to fake it at all. We didn't have to advertise. Didn't have to do anything. And my fear is if I do that with the Corvette, I'm going to have to push harder in order to not lose my shirt.
Jordan says, greetings from Porsche Cars North America. So we got some Porsche guys watching here.
I need allocations, Jordan. Get me freaking allocations so I still can't get a GT4. This is like the most asinine thing ever. I'm the biggest Porsche fan, probably one of the 5 biggest Porsche fans in the world. I'm doing all of this. I'm always talking about it. and making videos, and I can't freaking buy a car. I can't buy one. How is that? This is the most ridiculous thing ever. How can I not buy a GT4? It's like I don't even ask. I'm not asking for a discount. I can't buy a GT4. Why? That's ridiculous. Who's getting them then? If the super fans can't get the freaking car, who's getting it? I'll tell you, it's douchebags. It's the douchiest secondhand dealers. How many freaking GT3 RSs are sitting on dealer lots now at some ridiculous markup bullcrap price? I hope they all get screwed. Why? Why let that happen? It's ridiculous. I could not buy a 991.2 GT3 RS. I couldn't buy one. I called 57 dealers. And I asked everybody that in the 100-some thousand people that I still couldn't get one. Unless I wanted to pay $75,000 over sticker. And you can get all you want from some douchebag secondhand dealer. A car that I don't even freaking want. It's some just stupid spec with yellow and purple everywhere. God dang it. This makes me so angry. How can I not buy a GT4? That's crazy. That's why I have a freaking Corvette. Gosh.
So welcome, Jordan. We're glad you're here.
Help me. Please, Jordan. Help me. I know it's not his fault.
No. Sure.
It's freaking dealers.
Jordan's probably got one, actually. He's laughing right now. He's driving it around.
Yeah, at a discount.
Hey, Matt, I was wondering, what's your OG spec for a tabletop out in the garage? I've seen you use stainless, but is that better than using a hardwood?
This is tough, man. We, my friend Mark Hausman and I have been kind of working on this. I've been slacking on him. He made a cabinet for my dad's garage, and he sent me a bunch of samples, and I'm going to be doing an upgrade to the wash bay, so we're going to be testing some hardwood type options. I just don't want like the list of Grandpa Yellowwood out there. I just don't want that. Sonic, same thing. So I would want some sort of heavy duty but nice looking sort of whitewashed or gray or ebony type. Even this walnut isn't terrible. Something that looks a little more modern and nicer, or doesn't look like my grandpa's workbench. But I think wood is probably the best option. And once it develops, so when it's new and it starts to get scratched up, it looks bad. But once it develops that kind of patina, that weathered look, which takes a little while, then it looks like it should. Looks in place. But something like concrete would look really cool. But if you hit a hammer off it, you're going to chip it. Obviously, Corian or marble or granite isn't going to work very well. The problem with stainless is it scratches and doesn't develop a patina look to it. It just looks scratched. And the other problem, with stainless is that it's always fingerprinted up and looks dirty. So I love stainless countertops are a lot like epoxy floors. They look great in pictures, but when you're there looking at it in person, they look terrible. So I think it's wood, and I need to develop that solution sooner rather than later. And we'll be working on it with the MSS Plus that I'm going to be doing in the wash bay here later this year.
All right, Brett T sent us some super chat money.
Ooh.
It said, release the unedited video of the Corvette clothing and trophy destruction to the Hex members. I guess he figures there's more to it.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, now we just need $880.01. And $980.01.
For what?
From you eating another 2 boxes, including the box itself.
No, I'm done.
He said 1,000. All right. Do you think you have a pressure washer powerful enough to wash a Gulfstream jet? This is from Frank. We currently have 2 power washers, but I'm trying to convince my company to buy 2 more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you would probably want to do something that has more pressure and more flow. As long as we have access to more power, that's the key. Is we need more power. So if we have, a 20 amp or a 25 amp or whatever that that plug is for like a dryer, that dryer, look at that 25 amp dryer plug or 20 amp dryer plug. Then we can do like a 599 TST that'll do 2.5 gallons a minute at, and then you can, depending on how much pressure you need, we can dial up as much as say 1800 or 2000 PSI, but you just need more current. We need the proper source. And then the other issue is you really can't run extension cords on that kind of stuff. So that's where, when the Gulfstream is 250 feet long or whatever, they're not that long, but with 100 feet long, 80 feet long, how are you got to be able to reach the end of it. So that's the tricky part. And that's where gas becomes just so much more practical than like a really big electric. Or you get a big electric, we mount it to the wall, we hardwire it, and then we run hoses. You could run a 200-foot hose. You're only going to drop a 200-foot hose. You might drop 150 psi. So if we have a 2800 psi machine that's real world getting us say 2000 psi at 3.5 gallons a minute, we can easily do it. It's just better if we can wall mount it and then run hoses to get it there rather than having to try to run power. That's the harder part. But yeah, you can call me or email me and we can definitely do it.
Mike Ski 77 wants to know any future plans to film more garage builds. I love those videos.
Yeah, funny you mentioned that. That's a big focus coming toward the end of the year. I'm going to be doing Ed Bullion, who is VinWiki. We're going to be doing his garage. I'm going to be doing a garage giveaway. So I'll be doing that person's garage, meaning I'm going to hopefully raise lots of money to help me pay for this building that I'm trying to buy. And then I'm going to give away like a $50,000 garage of me flying out there, and Mike Figuera and I are going to fly out there and we're going to build your garage with you. Wouldn't that be pretty sick? I think
that'd be fun.
Yeah, and so we're going to be doing that. We'll be doing my wash bay, redoing that and building a little addition to the wash bay, and then once I'm hoping early next year to build my garage. I got to sell a lot of crap. If I sell a lot of crap, if I get my taxes prepaid, then I want to build my garage next year. I think we're getting close to that because we're getting close to the building out the bulk of the heavy lifting of building out the product line is getting closer, to not the end, but getting closer to where now it's little one-off things that we'll be improving with version 2.0s and 3.0s and 4.0s and things like that. And I don't think I'll ever catch up to that, but it's different than I'm working on building the vision out, and we're having to we're going to have to get to that point so that I can focus more on what I love, which is garage building. But that's the other thing. We have another guy scheduled, which I think you'll enjoy. Another guy scheduled who lives in Jacksonville, who I convinced to come down and said, "Hey, if you're willing," he's asking me for some garage design advice. They're building the house, and I said, if you're willing, would you be willing to come down and sit with Bryce, me, and Kyle, and because I'm kind of grooming and teaching Kyle to become the garage designer. And so when we get to the point where he has someone working for him and tech support, he'll be heavy. I think he's going to be well suited if that's what he wants to do and heading toward design. So he becomes my proxy. I have the conversation with you, but like Joanna Gaines from Fixer Upper doesn't do all the design. She just does the final. It's her. She's created the team that does the design, but it's her style, it's her design. And so, like when I say to Kyle, look, I need to draw up like what are the dimensions for the pressure washing system. Where's that going to go? Where I would have done that in the past. So I think you'll enjoy that video. We're going to sit down and do the actual design of what I would suggest we do in the garage and where we should put hose bibs and outlets and where we're going to put stuff like that. Flooring, lighting, cabinets, all that, tools, and budget.
All right, this is from Jonathan Wright. We all know that exposure to contaminants while driving diminishes the life of a coating, and washing the car does the same. What is your best guess on the balance between those two things?
I don't know. I never really thought about it. I say just do whatever the heck you want to do. Don't think about it. And then when you're washing the car, so wash as much as you feel like washing it. When you wash the car and you rub your hand across it, then you'll know. You'll know when it's contaminated. And then you drive it as much as you want to drive it, wash it as much as you want to wash it. And the beauty of detailing is that you can fix it whenever you darn well feel like fixing it. Even if it goes beyond, right? Like the M5 out there, we were just hammering down with a iron remover and steamer, and we were able to make the calipers look darn near brand new. So imagine if we took some decent care, maybe not obsessed level care, but pretty decent care, much better care than this car has gotten, and you can always fix it. So I would recommend don't stress about it. Like my M3's water spots are on the car, and I know they're there. It bothers me that they're there. No one can see them but me, because you can only see them when you bring them in under the right light. You can't even see them in sunlight. But I'm going to remove them at some point. But I'm going to do it whenever I'm ready to do it, and whenever the colonite starts to fail. So hope that answers the question. So whenever you feel like it.
All right, Noe wants to know, has your ultimate goal for the OG brand and the OG store become a bit more clear or possibly even changed?
No, it's not very clear to me. I know what the brand is now. Again, I was very confused on what Obsessed Wealth and Obsessed Garage was, and I was confused on, how do I not be a salesman and just sell stuff? So I've become very aware of the power. The brand is more powerful than the selling, than the stuff that I'm selling. The reason people are buying from me is not because I'm selling it to them. It's because they get all things obsessed from me, right? And so people are seeing that. The right people see that. The ones that weren't buying love to complain about it and all that stuff, and whatever. That's part of the territory. But the thing I'm not sure about longer term is, where do we end up? What does the destination end up being like? Do I build that facility that I talked about up in the mountains? Those are big boy numbers we're talking about. And so does that happen? I don't know. I don't care if it doesn't, but I'll chase it nonetheless. So like if we just did what we're doing today and I make what I'm making today and the business does what it keeps doing, grows a little bit from here, I'll be fine. I'll be happy. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop. Because I'd also be happy if we did 10x or 20x or 50x or 100x what we're doing. I'd be happy then too. Because one thing I think I've gotten much better at with coaching is to let go of things. I just don't worry about stuff. But we built a lot of systems along the way. Like I don't worry about the books, but we built systems to where we're looking at the books, and I can look at it and I can see it. I'm not abdicating it, and I'm delegating it. I'm not looking at Bryce's edit anymore because we sat down and I've had many different YouTube people ask me about, like Pan ask me this, and Tommy F. and Adam LZ. They just can't fathom. They're like, how could you let somebody else edit your videos? How do they know how to do it? How do they get the style? How do they not violate you? I said, well, Bryce and I freaking sat there for video 1, 2, and 3, and I edited it while he sat there and watched me. And then video 4, 5, and 6, I sat there and watched him. Done. Forever. Infinity. And then occasionally I'll watch a video back and say, I wish you did this differently. And I don't even have to really do that. And so I think that the continued development of talented people and give you a cool gig that you like doing will afford me the ability to make it where my life doesn't suck if we're doing 150 million. And I don't have to hire a CEO because I'm the frickin' CEO. You can get that on my business card like Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm the frickin' CEO.
No, it's something that was like, what was it? I don't say those words.
Let's see. Brandon on Facebook says, have you seen any benefits to BrakeBuster's corrosion inhibitors? I've been using it for weeks now and see little to no difference on the rotors or rotor hats. Unfortunately, I assume this is one of those situations where there is no magic solution.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems to be a little better, but yeah, that's why I still use
rust stopper.
Yeah, and even that doesn't solve the problem. It's an unsolvable problem, so you're just trying to make it a little bit better. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't even really care because I'm using the product that's designed to do that. It doesn't freaking cost a lot. It's what is it? A gallon? $70 or something. It'll last you for the next 6 years. A gallon will last you forever. Just do a couple of spritzes. 32 hour, whatever that 16-ounce bottle is going to last you a year. So just buy it, and then that's part of the deal. Is rust is part of the game in that. Get some CCBs, carbon ceramics.
All right, OG Pear Tree on Instagram wants to know, what are your thoughts on flow forged versus true forged wheels for a non-track car? A good set of flow forged are $1,200 to $1,500, whereas the cheapest full forged are $2,000 plus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to buy, truly forged. I mean, the whole point of wheels is generally to lighten it up, but hopefully look good doing it. And so, a flow forged wheel a lot of times is not all that much lighter than a cast wheel. So the question is, does it make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit lighter, a little bit stronger than a traditional casting. So they shouldn't be using the term forged in the construction of the wheel. But, I think if you really dig the design and you got crappy, heavy stock wheels, then I don't see a problem with it. Even like I buy Methods for which are cast wheels, fake bead locks on my Raptor because I think they look the best. And not like I am just in shock at how many trucks have fuel wheels on them. It's insane. They all look exactly the same, and they all look terrible, and they must be dirt cheap or something. Why does everybody have those wheels? Get Methods. Methods are dirt cheap, and they don't look douchey. So those of you who have fuel wheels, punt them and get some decent-looking wheels.
There you go. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Dan Pfeiffer, our friend up in Minnesota, wants to know, what's the ETA on the Forklift? It's supposed to be in Orlando next week.
We're going to have to do a full detail series on that.
Watch for the PPFing of the Forklift for the first time ever. Jesse says, you ceramic coated your wheels.
Yeah.
What type of life do you expect out of that?
Years. A couple of years. Yeah, 18 months, 24 months. Don't really know because I don't have wheels long enough to really find out. But, yeah, a couple of years. At least 18 months.
All right, Spencer, with a second here from Carl in the chat, says, would you make a video, like a wash and chat, giving advice to the younger generation members here, 18 to 25-year-olds? Maybe even discuss how you keep your car clean in an apartment situation.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that too quite a bit in that, I've kind of developed the progressive steps for pressure washing and created packaging there. And I talked about this in previous podcasts. I think having progressive steps or a discussion on what you would do for, and this is where it comes down to when we kind of build out the product line, and then I can start to tweak the organization of the product line and what you truly need, and then what what you would aspire to have. And so these progressive steps, I think I'll have videos coming up over the next several years about this kind of stuff and addressing these concerns. And one thing I'm not going to do, though, is I'm not going to go out and buy some crappy stinky car and or some go into some garage find and fix it. That's something I would never do, so why would I do it on video? I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in doing that kind of stuff. And I'm not interested. I'm not going to go buy a Civic and start over. But I think I can provide a little bit of insight into how to work your way through the progressive steps. And I don't think I have to buy a Civic and drive around in a Civic for a year to do that, because I've been there and done that. I know what to say and what to provide. And so, I have moderated a lot, and I only want to deal with certain people that are like me, and I'm just not going to deal with it. But I've realized the value in cultivating the next generation, and I also realize that there's again there are progressive steps. It's funny how people attack you for coming on up to with realizations and evolving your thought process. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? So I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I am going to do that. And I feel like I've lived it, so I have some insight into that. It's the whole point of building the M5 from start to finish. If I don't like it, I want to live it. I want to go through the process. It's part of why I look back and say, man, when I was 20, man, I wish I just got a Ferrari right from the start. But now you can look back and say, man, it was way better experiencing it. Nobody that's 19 wants to hear that. But it's way better when you get to live it. Otherwise, what are you going to do? I mean, I don't know. It's just, I feel like sometimes it's nice to progress and take those steps. It makes you appreciate it more.
Jeff here in the chat asked something. I think we might have addressed this last week, but I'll cover this again. I use Surf City Garage Voodoo Leather Cream Treatment for leather seats. Will you be carrying something similar for a top coat for leather seats?
Yeah, that would probably be the leather cream or whatever, leather protection cream, or whatever that stuff was called from Color Lock that I can't remember the name for some stupid reason. But I, again, would stick with the companies that know leather. I don't think Surf City Garage knows jack about leather, unless they're buying it from a company that knows something about leather. Otherwise, you're just slathering some stuff on there that may or may not be beneficial.
Adam asks here in the chat, are the pressure washer hose storage plugs ever coming back? That's a great question.
Yeah, I'm going to be going down to my buddy Mike G, and I'm going to have him make them. And I'm also going to probably have him make a quick disconnect for the foam cannon bottle. Somebody gave me that idea. I told him I'd give him royalties. I was kind of joking. I think he thought it was serious. But some guy said, yeah, that'd be a great idea to have a quick disconnect. And in honoring the source, it wasn't my idea. But it'd be way. I've always thought about putting a metal collar on the foam cannon bottle and having something like that made. Yeah, it should be pretty easy to do. So we keep the metal collar, and it has an insert, and then you can screw it on. But his idea of making that a quick disconnect, I think is a good idea, and I think my buddy Mike G could do that for me. And I'd buy a zillion of them because we would sell a lot of them. It'd be cool, just pop, and not have to just kind of gently squeak it in there. And by the time I come out with that, the PF23 will be available, and I would have addressed that, but that's a risk.
This question is from Dannon on Facebook. Hey, Matt, after chasing the budget pressure washer setup, do you think you'd ever consider chasing a budget polisher setup?
It's kind of hard to do that. I mean, I guess I'm just thinking about, you could, like, you take a cheap polisher and put really good pads with it and a good compound, maybe modify the power cord to make it so there wasn't, I guess power cords are pretty easy to do. Even cheap ones have decent ones. It's just so hard. The balance and noise that those make, that Griot's, I think, probably nailed that with the G9. Looks pretty awesome. So I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I'll be able to provide that solution. Griot's pretty much nailed that.
All right, Taylor wants to know, just bought a Jeep Gladiator. I'm trying to figure out how to take care of the plastic fenders. I was thinking tape them off when waxing the paint using solution finish when I wax. Then can I use bead maker during maintenance washes?
So say that one more time. We do.
Let's take care of the plastic fenders.
Yeah.
I was thinking tape them off when waxing the paint.
Certainly, yes.
And
Yeah.
using solution finish when I wax.
You won't need solution finish. Solution finish is a restorative type product, so you probably won't need solution finish. But coat them. I would absolutely coat them. Be worth $60. Buy a bottle of G-Technic CSL, Crystal Serum Light, and coat them. But tape them when you're polishing. Tape them when you're waxing. Coat them when it's at the very last step, and they'll look fantastic for like a couple of years before you need to reapply. And don't treat them with anything else. Just wash them like normal. And then, yeah, you can hit them with bead maker. That's what I would do. That's what I do.
Colin asks on Facebook, what would be a recommendation budget surround sound setup? I'm talking $500 roughly.
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy on that one. $500. Jeez. Yeah, no. Add a 0 to that, and I might be able to help you consider it. Even that, I'm the wrong guy to ask that one. I have a $5,000 preamp. So, yeah. I don't know about that one. You're going to do like 2.1 surround. Yeah, a sound bar, a Klipsch sound bar or something like that. Yeah, or secondhand. I mean, that's where you can go. Just start deal shopping. I bet you could convince me to send you my Integra preamp that was like $3,000 just sitting in a closet. There's lots of dudes like me that have a lot of high-end old stuff sitting in closets that you could find. Go to audiogone.com, go to eBay, go to Craigslist, and start searching for audio gear.
Goodwill, Bryce suggests Goodwill.
I drop that stuff off on the curb.
Yuri suggests $500, just get headphones.
Yeah, seriously. You could have an amazing experience. Actually, having a better experience with headphones than you would with my $50,000 theater setup.
Right, so for $500 headphone budget, what would you got any suggestions there?
Well, I think for that you would want a pretty legit. Yeah, now I'm into preamps and.
Well, I don't know. It depends on what you need.
Yeah.
It has already.
Yeah. You'd want a FLAC player, and then there's a lot of like obscure headphone manufacturers. So just start Googling headphones, and then figure out your 500 bones.
Sony.
But stay away from the name brands. I mean, Sony makes great headphones. Sennheiser makes good headphones, but yeah, there's a lot of obscure companies that specialize in that stuff.
Getting some good suggestions in the chat here.
Not the Flexzilla of headphones. No freaking Bose noise canceling bull crap or any of that stuff.
Adam wants to know that picture you posted when the Veloci guys dropped by. Are the new MTM phone cannons just a different bottle, or is the rest of it revamped as well?
Well, that'll be the PF 22.1. What did he say it was? The PF 22 something or other. Called it something. Was it 22.2? What the heck? Come on. I feel like an old man with freaking Face ID. What's going on? My face is right here.
In case you missed that video, Steven and Rob from Veloci stopped by.
What was
and,
just?
Brought some toys that they used
PF
in the parking lot.
22.2. I don't know why the 0.2. It's the same thing. It just has a different bottle. And the PF 23 is slated for like a year out, which will be a complete redesign. So it'll be the same top, the same tube. It just has a different, I guess, a little shorter tube. So it'll be a different insert tube and then a different bottle. And so the bottle we're expecting January, February, March timeframe. That bottle you see in the picture is like a flimsy prototype. It's not reinforced properly. That was just, there's only a couple of those prototypes in existence. Now they have to figure out how to make it so that it's stout.
All right, Grand Auto Details on Instagram wants to know if the GT3 or RS didn't exist, what do you think your ultimate car would be?
I mean, it would probably just be an M3.
I was just about to say, I think an E92 M3 is the answer we always come back to.
I mean, assuming the GT4 didn't exist either. Yeah, Ferrari's not really my thing. Lamborghinis are junk. McLaren, no, the Lamborghinis are decent, but McLarens really are junk. Luckily, I don't have to answer this.
All right. I have 2 questions. We're only going to give you one here. In 6 months or so, when the time comes to remove the Powerlock Colonite bead maker combo from a car, is the OG decontamination soap plus eraser all that is needed?
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to auto scrub it. An auto scrub's going to remove some, whatever's left over. So yeah, you want to clay or auto scrub, and you still want to iron remove, probably likely too. So the whole decon process. So decon soap, then iron remove, then auto scrub, then eraser polish combo, depending on how you do it.
All right. Do you think it's still worth applying CarPro Reload every few months on top of Sequartz 3.0 if I'm already using bead maker?
No. You don't think you need it. But I would guess that Reload is more stout. Certainly, I think Reload lasts longer. And I'm assuming those play well together. Yeah, they do, because I have used them together. So, yeah, I mean, it can't hurt to do Reload. It's just a question of you'd probably want to use Reset or Decon soap, try to get the bead maker off the car, and then put the Reload on. I don't know about vice versa, how Reload attaches, because if bead maker doesn't attach super stoutly, it's not a long-term solution, especially on top of a coating. I would guess if you're trying to attach Reload on top of bead maker, you're just wasting Reload. So I would want to get the bead maker off the car, then Reload, and then bead maker or maintain, as your drying aid.
John, or I bet it's Jan actually, based on his last name here. What is an OG spec garden hose? It's the one that we have in the store.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing. Did you see that guy's post with the bag on his head? It was the funniest post I've ever seen in my life. He wins best post ever in the group. He's been on post approval before, so he's been in and out of trouble in the group. So it's pretty funny.
He's got high variance with his post.
Yeah, of good and evil. It's just so funny, people and their justification for junk. I have a Harbor Freight Pittsburgh Jack. It's junk. I've had it for 15 years. Still works, but it's still junk. I just haven't valued a Jack to go and chase something really high end. At some point, I probably will. Whenever I catch that bug. Like last night, I was trying to find a pole jack, jacks to hold up like transmissions, or because I'm gonna need it to do the leaf spring bolt crap on the Corvette. But like, you won't hear me saying, if somebody says the Harbor Freight jack is junk, I'm gonna say, yeah, you're right. I've had mine for 15 years. I wish the thing would break, so it would force me to go buy a new one, instead of developing their entire self-worth on the purchase of a Harbor Freight jack. Now, would I have a different opinion if I was broke? I don't think I would. I would still know it's junk. It's a piece of crap thing. But
it served you well for 15 years.
But it's still not good. Just because it works doesn't mean it's any good.
What are you comparing it to? What's your
the Flexzilla hose here?
Okay, gotcha.
So the argument was, I've been using it for 6 years. First of all, has Flexzilla even been around for 6 years? So I think that's a load of crap. But it's a junk hose. It's a marketing company, and you're overpaying for that junk hose. So they're marking the balls out of that thing. I mean, it's marked up 160%. It costs them nothing, which I don't begrudge them for doing that. But just know you're getting a cheap hose, and it's cheaper than like a legitimate quality hose. It's cheap, way less expensive, and you're paying a crap load of markup. I mean, how else are they able to spend all the money on all the marketing they're doing and all the people? Like, you should see their freaking booth at SEMA. It's like douche personified. But it still doesn't make it good. I don't care if it's lasts you 50 years. Then you have to deal with a crappy hose for 50 years of your life. I'm dealing with this crappy Harbor Freight jack. But I haven't cared enough to go and, I don't have infinite resources to go and figure out what's something better. But that doesn't make it good.
It really is.
So don't give me that crap. So I have such a hard time keeping my mouth shut. I picked a fight with a couple of them, and I ran out of energy. But I wanted to fight every single one of them. But just being, don't have such a loser's limp, man. So anyway, Continental Frontier is the rubber. It's sourced from this dude in California that sources it, where I get it. It comes in blue and red. They don't make it in any other color. So, Adams has the red one, and they brought the red one back because they saw me selling the blue one. But I have originally learned about the hose from Adams because I bought one for $225. Little did I know the hose only cost, what are we selling it for? $90 for a 75-footer. I paid $225 for it, and we're selling it for $90, and I'm marking it up 50% or something like that, or 40 or whatever, whatever we're marking it up, 30, 40, 50%. So Continental Frontier is a different type of rubber. And then, we're putting a different type of fitting on the end of it. Will it last forever? No. Will it kink? Maybe. Still kinks. It's still a rubber hose. But it's just different. And it's not the same freaking Continental that's it. There's Continental Conti Tech at Home Depot for $20. But this is Continental Conti Tech Frontier. It's different rubber. Just completely different hose. So that's the hose. The Ely hose has superior termination. Their termination is, it's ace. It's so spot on. But their poly hose, I just don't like it. It's good, but this hose is better. So originally, I'd bought the Adams hose for $2. I still have it at my house. So I bought it, I don't know how many years ago, 8 years ago. And so I paid $225 for the hose when I didn't have $225 to spend. And notice I still have it. It's still on my Ely hose reel. So I bought that hose on an Ely hose reel because the Ely hose reel seemed like a good solution, but it just wasn't good enough. Their inlet hose, I could just tell. And an inlet hose doesn't matter as much as the major hose. So
there you go. In the OG store, 100-footer, $120.
What's a 75-footer?
95.
So I was close, yeah. I have a 75-foot 3/4 inch, which you don't want a 3/4 inch hose. I learned that lesson. I have a 200. It might even been 250 is what I paid for it. This is early Adams days, so thanks to them for turning me on to it. And then they abandoned it, and I was trying to source it, and I kept trying to buy them. I bought one for my dad, and there was this goofy website I was buying it from, and then they kind of went out of business or stopped. Their website just kind of crashed. And then that forced me to go and find the guy. I don't even remember how I found him. He can't keep up with us, though. He has a hard time with never expected us to buy so much. I'd like to buy my own press so I can buy the hose in bulk so we can make infinite sizes. Anyway, I gotta go throw up after eating. I'm just kidding.
You're going to be regretting those later, I think. We'll see.
That's the problem. Yeah. That's the problem with me.
See, I would think after a while of giving them up, it's only been like a week, I guess. A week or two.
Those ones weren't good, though. That's the disappointing part. And I feel bad that I wasted that. This whole probably 2 days of any kind of effort toward getting in shape. But that's been the cycle for the last 4 years.
That's the price you pay.
Yep.
There are 3 boxes left, so tune in next week. We'll see.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
I'm done.
I did it. I did it for the people. I did it for the comedy.
All right. We'll go with this one last question here from Thomas in the chat. Matt, I recently had an M Performance exhaust installed on my 1-month-old 240i. The install is janky. Who do I know? How do I know who to palm a hundo to make sure it gets done right when I take it back?
I wouldn't take it back. I'd go to.
My thought.
I would go buy a jack. I'd get my rear end underneath that car and figure it out. And so take your $100, This is the problem. This will be a good learning experience for you. Exhaust isn't all that difficult, and to make little minor adjustments and things like that, you're gonna have to figure it out. So I wouldn't go anywhere. I would do it even where I'm at today. Like, I'm not taking my freaking car to go get something like that fixed. I'm just gonna do it myself, because they're never gonna do it right. Rarely.
All right.
End of story.
That's it for this week then.
No more questions.
Let's see. You're not gone the next couple days. Next week, I think we're back to a Thursday.
Yeah,
Yes.
then I'm heading to the mountains. And then I'm shipping the
following
GT3
week?
up to the mountains, and then doing the mountains, and I'll be back on Monday, so back on Tuesday. So I'll have some cool mountain videos and be ripping the GT3. People telling me I don't know how to drive, and my middle fingers are up in my pocket. Say, screw you. And
Then you got the car club, BMW car club trip the following week.
Yep. And then SEMA.
SEMA's in November.
That's
So,
it. Peace out.
Well, thank you guys for all the questions and for the $250+.
Oh yeah, that's sweet. I lost 2 years on my life for $250. Anyway, catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for the support. For making me fat again. Make you guys feel better about yourselves. Screw you. Thanks for watching.